In every sport, there is an emergent talent that carries their city forward. Legends that bear the torch from generation to generation and take it to greater heights. One such talent from the city of Liverpool emerges a fledgling star. Kurtis Campbell, the new generation flag bearer. Now, having defended his World Featherweight Championship for the first time in a flawless performance, his quickly ascending rise has attracted attention from a worldwide audience and the sport's foremost and premier promotion, the UFC.
And still FCC Featherweight Champion.
Surely you are now going to go on to the UFC. That must be the next step for you.
You know, when they want me, I'm ready.
Inside the Toughsheet Community Stadium in Bolton, England, on March 1st, he'll have an opportunity to defend his belt from a top-tier talent across the globe that wants nothing more than to steal that momentum and conversely bear that flag for himself. The absolute destroyer and champion for PFI on a demolition tour of his home's featherweight division that's now come to the shores of England. Marcio Valerio.
Tô indo para nocautear no primeiro round, para além de quebrar a invencibilidade dele, mostrar a dominância no jogo.
No matter what the rankings say, the best in the world in my eyes. March 1st, the Pink Panther's back.
Meanwhile, at lightweight, one of the most palpably ascending new stars in Callum Connor possesses an extremely adept, undefeated striking style with a flair for showmanship.
You know, I come in here, I walk the walk, I talk the talk, cool, calm, collected, tall, ranger, dangerous as a motherfucker. I'm undeniable.
To date, his taste for finishing opponents has meant only a single foe has survived to the final bell. And now, he takes on his toughest test to date. Chris Stringer, not just a pioneer of MMA in the region, but MMA around the world, having competed as far back as 2003 in bouts all across the globe, with world-class training partners by his side. This is all evidenced by the fact that he is still emphatically finishing his opponents to this day, making for a surefire, aggressive and adrenaline-fueled inducing fight between both men.
I think March 1st is going to be the people's main event. I think it's going to be fight of the night and everyone will want to watch it.
This is the countdown to FCC 41, live on March 1st and only on UFC Fight Pass.
From this ground and pound.
This could be it.
Matusic's taking more. And a shot. That's first round finish from Kurtis Campbell. This time next year, when the Contender Series rolls around, I mean, you've got to have your eyes on that man if he's still holding this title and defended it.
Coming off of his flawless first title defense over Daniel Matusic at FCC 40 in November, the same question has been on everyone's lips.
Has anybody from the UFC contacted you?
They know. They know. Definitely. Over this next year, whatever I'm going to do, it's going to be massive statements. And whether it's this year or next year, they won't be able to deny me.
Kurtis Campbell was already well on the UFC's radar by the beginning of 2024, when he was still just 3-0 and had yet to win the FCC World Featherweight Championship. Since then, he's more than delivered on that promise, first easily disposing of Carl Fletcher in the first round to earn his title shot.
And over the top for the Pink Panther, mixing things up now. Another calf kick. Oh!
That's it!
Called it off! Already! How does he make it look so easy? The Pink Panther!
So easy!
And then he took on the undefeated 5-0 Brazilian champion, Matheus Lima. A man who trained underneath Junior Dos Santos' famous head coach, Yuri Carlton, as one of his star pupils who flew across the planet to personally corner Lima in that fight. And what took place was officially honored as a 2024 FCC Fight of the Year.
Yeah, that's the thing with these long limbs. Oh, he pointed down.
Exchanging.
He went for the oldest trick in the book. He literally pointed down and then went for a question mark kick. That's the oldest trick in the book there, what Lima did. But we look back at some of what happened in round one.
Lovely turning side kick, but those kicks ultimately were getting caught by Campbell, and that's what got him those takedowns. He jumped into that one as well. It was great technique. But Campbell not seeming too fazed by that. In fact, calls him on afterwards. crazy
that push
front
kick
kick
to the face,
and that was off a fake as well, but again changes into the double leg off the single, gets the hands locked, dumps him, and then was able to just sit on the posture high, threatened with submission several times and shot with elbows.
These are solid points being scored, and there's some big shots right there. Some decent elbows starting to come down. Oh, look at that.
Look at that, Campbell saying he loves it. Well, there you have it. We have a new featherweight champion, Kurtis Campbell, the Pink Panther.
Finally, to put a capstone on his 2024, the Pink Panther would then effortlessly put away Daniel Matusic in a literal Fighter of the Year cementing performance as a now 6-0 undefeated champion.
That's a huge record to be at this level, to be a champion. And again, untested. We have yet to see this man look tested by anybody.
Well, if the big man was watching right now, would you have a message for him?
Come on, big man, you know who I am. I know who you are.
It was pitch perfect, and we know we'd be wild on the feet. The stuff that we're working at the minute in the gym, bread and butter. In 2021, I'd done the same 2 awards as an amateur. And now 2024, I've won the 2 awards again as a pro. Repeating history and making new history. That's what I'm doing with FCC.
But if there's any one question on whether this has all gotten to his head, Kurtis nor any of his team will allow that to happen.
You don't get to go up a peg. Any time anyone gets big-headed, it's not just the gym that we're in, it's like a family. So if I am going wrong, then every right to pull me up and say, listen, you're being wrong there.
There's just one problem with all this UFC and title legacy talk though. Marcio Valerio.
Com toda certeza, tô indo pra invencibilidade do Kurtis. Tô de olho na luta.
Valerio himself is a champion from PFI in Curitiba, whose undefeated streak within the promotion has seen all finishes everywhere the fight has gone. In fact, he's never beaten his opponents by decision. Marcio Valerio is a finishing powerhouse.
Entrou o golpe, sentiu o Renan, já foi para as costas, já pegou, já acabou a luta. Mais uma finalização, mais uma luta. A joelhada pegou.
In contrast to the aggressive, expert-level, fight-ending style he commands, Valerio comes from humble beginnings that necessitated his path towards his MMA dreams.
A minha infância, como a maioria dos brasileiros que crescem em periferia, foi bem, pode-se dizer, vivida. Bem vivida, fiz bastante coisa desde os meus 11 anos, comecei a trabalhar com garçom, com 11 anos fiz a minha primeira parte de garçom. E de lá pra cá não parei, nem trabalhando e nem treinando. Comecei a treinar com 13, então a minha vida inteira foi ali dentro dos ciclos da luta. E a luta me tirou do caminho que a maioria dos meus amiguinhos foram. Então a luta, ela realmente me salvou.
Above all else though, outside of the cage, he is a very different human being and a devout family man.
Em casa eu sou bem tranquilão, totalmente diferente do cara que sai nocauteando, sai querendo finalizar todo mundo no octógono. Em casa eu sou bem tranquilo. Eu gosto de ficar em casa com minha esposa, minha filha, assistindo filme, conversando.
But make no mistake, Kurtis Campbell represents more than just an opponent. A roadblock to his goals he intends to break through, and Valerio is not one to hold back on his thoughts on Kurtis as an opponent. Additionally, not just that, he just doesn't really see what all the hype is about.
É cara que tem grappling mediano. Não é bom de trocação e pela primeira vez ele vai pegar cara que é contundente para caralho, bate forte pra caralho.
Marcio is a bum. I think he needs to look at his own topology before he looks at mine. I think I've had bigger prospects than him.
Tô indo pra nocautear ele no primeiro round, pra além de quebrar a invencibilidade dele, mostrar a dominância no jogo.
Couldn't knock a wank out. However Marcio feels, if he needs a hug, I'll give him one after I punch his face in.
In spite of their now fast-evolving war of words, neither man has lost sight of what this FCC belt means. the history behind it, and what it represents for their career goals. And of course, with the eyes of the world watching, a decision isn't enough for either man.
É bom que além de conquistar um cinturão que já passaram pelas mãos de alguns dos caras que já foram famosos dentro do UFC, lá também tem os olhos do Dana White, tem os olhos do UFC Fight Pass, então acho que vai ser muito importante conquistar esse cinturão. Com um nocaute ainda mais.
Everyone doesn't like the way I say this, but it is an entertainment sport and I am the entertainer. No one wants to watch boring fights. So you got to be exciting with it, you got to put the finishes away and just coming back home. Just doing what I do best. They're not just coming here to play, they're coming here to fight and they want to take what I've got.
Indeed, Valerio is not coming to play, and instead, he has a chilling message for the FCC champion.
Kurtis Campbell, homenagem à tua morte. Se prepara que eu tô indo na caça.
Don't remember anyone being able to hunt the apex predator. Marcio, it sounds personal from your side. If you need a hug after me smashing you, I'll be there, brother.
And the FCC Featherweight Championship is on the line!
In the co-main event, a tale as old as life itself. The future, in more ways than one, versus the present in the menace. Youth versus experience. One of the newest faces of mixed martial arts in this part of the world looks to stake his claim as one of the very best in the sport today in Callum Connor. While Chris Stringer is a pioneer, especially in this region, but also in MMA around the world, he looks to assert it's still his time and there is indeed more greatness to come. For Callum, despite the younger face at the age of 25, he's been a lifelong martial artist.
But a big influence in me getting into, well, as to why I'm sat here today was me dad, really. I was a little bit of a shy kid, if I'm totally honest with you. You know, he took me down to a gym just to be able to look after myself, keep myself fit, that kind of thing. So, you know, I walked into this gym and I was kind of overwhelmed. There was, you know, big guys everywhere and all training. And it was quite nerve-wracking, so at first I didn't want to do it, but a couple of weeks down the line I said, all right, I'll give it a go, and the rest is history, really. My first inter-club was against a kid, I think, 3 years older, so at that point I was 10, he was maybe 13, so I can remember it like it was yesterday. You know, I had a little bit of natural aggression in me, so, but the kid had a little bit of experience as well, and he come to put it on me, but like I say, I just had that natural aggression. I didn't have that give up in me. I just, you know, I wanted it. So when I got in there, I got stuck in, and like I say, that carried me through to all the rest of my fights, and here we are.
And for many years, he continued to hone his craft until one day deciding to take the next step in his martial arts journey.
I always knew I had something with the Thai. I had a real passion and a real love for it. It was the only thing I ever did love. Like oftentimes, you know, kids, especially in this country, you know, you play football as a youngster, as I did, but I didn't have that same love for it, you know. I kind of wanted to do it for me because it's an individual sport at the end of the day. Like football, you're relying on 10 other men. As I say, MMA was something I always wanted to do. I watched the McGregor rise, which was obviously amazing. And yeah, I suppose it gives you that little bit of a inspiration, a little bit of a push inside to think, you know, as we can all go on to achieve these great things, and you know how well I'm doing and my mindset, everything. I just know I'm going to go places. So it's what I'm destined to do. It's my purpose. So
the rise was quick, devastating, and momentous. Even back in his earliest amateur days, Connor managed to showcase skills seemingly well beyond his years against the competition.
Grateful that this isn't on the pro rules where he's going to get those big knees to the head. Oh, a big teep kick. The referee taking a close look at this one. Body shots from Connor and an uppercut, and it's over. Callum Connor, 2 fights, 2 highlight reel stoppages.
And since turning pro, his career has looked flawless. He re-entered the FCC cage at 3-0 when he took on a man who shared an undefeated record and was hungry to keep his own unbeaten streak going.
Inevitably, I think, these guys are going to try and take me to the ground. People know what my bread and butter is. People know where I excel.
Run the pipe right now, runs into the fence. Good balance from Callum Connor, but also great shot from Lops.
Yeah, we know Lops has great submissions on the ground, so
it was just kind of like transitioning from one thing to the next, which is what you saw. He took me down, I sprung back up, and you seen that sense of urgency in me getting the finish. It's a testament to my improvements in my overall MMA game.
The feet, more knees from Connor, to the knee! He's down! The knee, the elbow! It's over! Whoa. A first round finish for Callum Connor! Make it 4 in a row now for this man!
The next test came in the form of Everton Cruz, who not only had the experience edge but a matching record, also having taken out several regional undefeated prospects in Sao Paulo. He would end up going the distance with Connor, but the way this fight went, he may have wished he hadn't.
Sticking out that lead hand, not really committed to too much. There's a nice right hand over the top, that landed. And another one.
Just drilling him with that right hand.
Oh, that's the tie right there. You see him catch that kick, that was beautiful.
Yeah, ducking under those body shots.
Look, I like it.
Oh, he's throwing heavy here.
Oh, stepping elbow, man. You can tell this guy's a Thai fighter. I mean, how much more do you need to see?
Wow. Yeah.
Oh!
It's so hard to get comfortable against this guy because he'll just land one of those techniques, and he went for the head kick as well. Yeah. It was close to landing there.
Tried a lot of orthodox stuff early on. It seems to be orthodox for the boxing.
Masterfully using that range. He's stepping in with elbows, using these leg kicks, and again, using that range very well. Nowhere near the mark with that leg kick.
Nice two to the body as well. I mean, he just mixes up the targets.
1-2, Mark.
Elbow fired up the middle. Oh, man. I mean, a double start switch into a turning side kick right to the liver.
Callum Connor's just coming forward, putting everything together.
Oh.
There's that body shot, spinning back kick.
Again, composure. We said that in the first round. That's going to be the tail of this fight. Straight right. Huge shot in there. And Cruz licks his lips.
That hurt him. That hurt him there. He's moving.
Yeah, he's trying to move as much as possible. Oh, my God. Wrap the shin across the side of the net right there with the left leg, did Connor. Oh, again with the left head kick.
Way to win is big for him. He needs that confidence. It's such a tough thing to do with somebody this much bigger than you who's got this kind of accuracy in your face. Look at that combination right as I'm saying that. Wow.
Putting the hands together. He's also not throwing every punch as hard as he can. The first two are slow, the third is the money shot. Oh, lovely left head kick. And Cruz is just eating everything here, Jason. I don't know. Some of these are getting through. Nice jab to the body by Connor. And a straight right.
Oh, big shot.
Now he's landing.
It was a thoroughly impressive show of heart from Cruz, but in the end, Callum Connor managed to showcase his most clinical work over the course of 3 rounds. Then it was on to Callum's most recent fight at FCC 40 in November of 2024. And this time he was dealt a style clash up from someone who could potentially test him in a way that no one else could. An 8-fight veteran of the sport, but perhaps even more noteworthy was his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu background. Many tournaments won as a true master and pioneer of the art with more than 20 years experience. And it represented a style clash that could prove lethal towards any striking-based athlete's game.
To be honest, it was something that I completely anticipated going into the fight. I knew stylistically what he possessed. For me, having watched him, he only had one tempo, he only had one pace.
And a bit of trouble would indeed find Connor as Dixon heavily pursued the clinch.
Talk about starting fast already, putting it on. Callum Connor, a couple of left hands just to get him into this clinch position. Lovely takedown from Dixon though. Huge heals him.
I was comfortable there, it was just a case of biding my time. What you saw happened.
But just as quick as that moment arrived, it was already gone.
Connor going to sit up though, from side control, just sitting straight up. Nice work.
Wow.
Calls him back to the feet.
It was really just a matter of time in that fight. I knew I'd get the finish. I'm always of the belief that a good body shot is probably worse than a good head strike. A good body shot will shut your whole game down, shut your whole body down.
Lapses at the base there, lovely body shot.
He's
the rinser from the body shot, and I think that was it. Was it the roundhouse to the body?
Again, Connor delivered an unblemished performance after weathering the early storm and managed to find the finishing blow he was looking for. With the UFC's unbeaten main eventer Lerone Murphy in his corner celebrating, the moment symbolically illustrated a glimmer of where Callum Connor could indeed be himself within a short span of time. But his biggest test, without a doubt, was in fact not waiting in the shadows. but it was visible all along. For the region, there aren't many names that can boast the longevity and influence Chris Stringer's career has had. Fighting officially as far back as 2003, there are simply very few fighters at this level from that era that can still say they are performing the way he does today. He's fought in the top promotions around and worked closely with some of the biggest names in the sport, the likes of Tom Aspinall, Darren Till, and has been working alongside coach Mike Grundy for 15 years. But despite that, coming in against a young, hungry and undefeated prospect, he feels there are some doubters to prove wrong.
I know the eyes are on him. If he can beat me, he can go on to big things. If he can't beat me, you got to go back to the drawing board. Where when I'm the underdog, it just lights that fire where I'll go, yeah, do you know what? Fuck you. I'll show you. Just watch.
And perhaps that stems back to his early childhood.
I grew up in the 90s in Northern Ireland. Now, I'm mixed race, 2 shades of white, don't get along. So to me, I'm Irish, but to anyone there, just like, yo, who's this little kid? And then obviously all the racial slurs, so that really pissed me off when I was younger. So it goes back to think even when I was younger, always being counted out, never doing any of that. I'm just like, yeah, I'll show you, just watch.
And at age 38, he's perhaps in the best shape of his life, something that was immediately remarked upon in his last fight.
I don't think it's unfair to say, but this is probably aesthetically, physically, the best Chris Stringer has looked. Shout out to Jack Freeman for the strength and conditioning.
But it wasn't just for aesthetics, he also fought like he looked.
To move his feet when he strikes because he dropped a little timing on the straight right as he came across to the left-hand side, cut the angle, now the ground and pound from top position. How much can Farage take here, Phil? These are landing. Find a movement here, and he's got to move. Phil Crosby is so close, and there it is. Chris Stringer with an absolutely huge win.
I think it'll be an absolute banger, as he said. People's main event. Don't bet against me. Watch what happens.
So, who will it be? The future or the menace? And will it be and still or and new? Only one way to find out. Tune in live to FCC 41 March 1st, only on UFC Fight Pass.